Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. We're going to talk about the coming breakout of hostilities across America and what that looks like. We've been talking about this for a long time, for several years now. Now we're getting down to the wire. What you need to know and what you need to do to protect yourself and prepare. All right, so we're going to cover all that, and we're going to look at the bigger picture of what's going on right now. It is in the beginning stages. We know that the Democrats have been, you know, preparing for this for a long time. They did it for the last 4 years. They came in and were basically bringing in people across the border that were going to help them take back America. And fortunately, we have Donald Trump that has gotten back into office. We have an excellent group of patriots across the Trump administration that are going to do really, really good work. We've been involved. We the truthers have been involved for the last 5 years, trying to get everybody prepared for basically what's coming. And now here we go. All right, so it will last, I think, well past this year. Well into it's already starting. It will pick up steam. They're planning riots across the United States right now. At least that's what we're seeing. Will the massive response that the Trump administration did it catch them off guard because they thought they were going to do the George Floyd, part two type of riots where they slowly start to break them out and then build on them and spread them to other cities. Protest upon protest that turned violent. Maybe we have pushed it back a little bit, pushed back the timeline, but the timeline will continue. It will continue. So I think there's going to be up to 17. Now Juan has come out and said 14 U.S. cities, but I think there's upwards of 17. And I'll go through that. So let's look at some of the things that are out there right now. We're going to see mayors and governors and Democrat-run states and cities, do delaying tactics like we're seeing right now in California, trying to get involved. Maxine Waters. These people, I think, eventually will be arrested for causing for getting in the way. So Trump has already said that. So they may back off a little bit, but at some point, I think they get involved to the point where they're going to get arrested because they have their marching orders. They're part of this takeover of America to turn us into a communist dictatorship, and that's just what has been going on for a long time. And many of us have been warning about this. Many of us that are former veterans and so forth, have fought overseas and have seen the way that other countries, deteriorate. We've seen the deterioration here in the United States, especially over the last 4 years, and it's basically on a bad footing right now. So they get it back, we're going to have to fight for it. And it was hopeful for a lot of us that maybe it could be prevented. Maybe the Trump administration, if it had been able to go forward for another 4 years, could have cleaned up the House. But no, that it didn't work out that way. And now we're in a worse state than we were obviously 4 years ago. Much, much worse. So it is at the crossroads. We'll see, I think, massive problems. We will lose. Cities will be destroyed. Just like if you look at the Iraq War, Fallujah, I think we'll see similar things in many, many cities. Right. So it will be widespread across the United States. We could see, the internet go down like we've been warning for a long time. And that's from them. That's from the deep state. They could take down the internet. That's not something that the White Hats would do because they want to keep people informed, keep people hopeful, and coordinate with people and so forth. The deep state does not want that. They want to annihilate everything and then pick up the pieces and take control. So that's what they're going to try and do. Very, very possible we'll see a lot of the infrastructure get destroyed, electricity, water, the movement of food supplies and so forth. Very, very possibly that's what's going to happen. So you just have to prepare yourself. We've been preparing for this. We've been talking about this for 4 years. Is it all going to happen at once? Probably not. But I think we're at the cusp of it. It'll pick up speed. It'll get violent. It can get violent very quickly. It could all happen overnight, just like we saw with the George Floyd riots. It can happen very, very quickly and get out of control very, very quickly. President Trump, learned from back in 2020 when the George Floyd riots were happening, and he didn't push out the National Guard and so forth. He was trying to be reelected, so he didn't have to be reelected this time. So he's going to do the right thing. Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. That's where we're at right now, and that's what we need. That's what we need very desperately. So let's look at some of the things that are out there. To give you an idea, I'll break this down for you from my military experience. 24 years in SEAL teams at the very highest levels, and then 12 years within the State Department and CIA. So here we have Newsom's office compares LA riots against federal agents to sports celebrations. So this will be, like I said, the delaying tactic of Democrat governors throughout the country. They'll have things like this. They'll come out and say, it's no big deal. And he brings up sports celebrations that notoriously break out in Philadelphia after an Eagles victory. All right, Philadelphia will be probably one of those cities that will be lost. It's pretty much lost already, so it's not much of a stretch to see Philadelphia going away. But for him to compare Philadelphia like that I think is a tell, because they know which cities are going to go down, and I'm going to tell you which cities that I believe are going to go down. Whether they do or not depends on us, really, quite frankly. But I think there's no saving a city like Philadelphia. It's very, very much destroyed as it is. It would be like if you looked at Detroit like maybe 20 years ago. It's kind of like what Philadelphia is now. It's a Democrat hellhole, and it's had so long of a period of Democrats in control. Destroying the system, milking the system, corruption, and so forth. That there's really when something like this comes along, there's no saving it. Kind of like what we're seeing with LA right now. So the LA riots. Have these geniuses ever seen what happens when the Eagles win a playoff game? Philadelphia notoriously sees sports revelers flood the city after beloved teams such as the Eagles or Philly. So anyway, they're going to continue to do this. We have Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. She's doing the same thing, saying that, with the National Guard coming in, that's very bad. Really, with the National Guard coming in, that's the only thing that's going to save some of those people that are in LA. Right, LA, as we know, has been ravaged by the destructive fires that these guys helped cause. We see right now that Newsom and Bass are being recalled. So this is probably one of the reasons why we're seeing LA kick off first, because they're going to try and stop that recall. That's one of the things they're going to try and stop, so that they can stay in power and continue their operations to destroy California and help destroy America. Now, other things we're seeing every time there is President Trump comes in and says he's going to cut funding, because he just came in and said he's going to cut $4 billion from the train to nowhere, that, fast train, the speed train, whatever, bullet train that was supposed to have been completed by now. That was supposed to be so many billions of dollars, is like, 4 times that amount now, or 5 times or 10 times that amount. It doesn't matter. The thing is not going to be built. And the Democrats have basically, money laundered the hell out of that thing, and Trump is no more. So then after he said that, the riots started. Now, if you go back a little bit and you go back to in the March timeframe, you might remember in San Diego, there were riots down there. And that's when Trump said that he was cutting funding for COVID, health emergency. They were still using funding from the health emergency. Of course, they didn't expect Trump to come in office, and they were going to continue to milk that. He came in and basically shut that down. And then they had riots in San Diego. Same thing. And I said, is this the start of it back then? Something I knew was going to kick it off. So that was a test run. Here, is this another test run? We'll see, because this afternoon at 2:00 in LA, which is around this time frame right now, there's supposed to be another demonstration, another riot that's going to be started. So we'll see how organized they are. Now I'm going to show you guys that they same thing as the George Floyd riots. They dropped off cinder blocks, and they're breaking the cinder blocks up to use as projectiles against the police and the FBI agents and so forth. So let's look at some of the things that are going on out there, guys. I think that the White Hats knew this was coming. They're supposed to have this one military parade in D.C. I think D.C. is one of the cities that are going to be lost. So here's all of the tanks and equipment that's coming in just for parade. So I know a lot of you are saying, why would you bring in tanks for demonstrators? Because at some point, this will get violent. People are going to start to shoot, bullets are going to fly, and bullets have to go back the other way. And then if you're out in the open, like a lot of these National Guard troops are right now, they're going to go down. So then you're going to have APCs, armored personnel carriers come in. They have guns on them. Troops will pour out the back and take positions and start to take out probably people that are in buildings, shooting from buildings, guys. It's going to be Fallujah again in LA and in other big cities. So when you have that, then you bring in the tanks. And then the tanks, you have to have the tanks, basically big guns. You're going to have helicopters, helicopter gunships, Spectre gunships, all kinds of crazy stuff. It will destroy the big cities just like it did. You'll take down block by block, blow up block by block, because we've had millions, tens of millions of illegal aliens come in. We had many of them that were here already, and they're all going to get, not all of them, but many of them are going to get involved. Many of them are going to get involved in this.
What you're seeing behind me right now is the tying down of the very first M1A2 System Enhancement Package version 3 Abrams main battle tank being tied down for the U.S. Army's 250th birthday parade. There are going to be a total of 28 of these tanks going to the parade in D.C. on 14 June. We're also adding 28 M2.
So that's 6 days from now. They're going to have all this military equipment in D.C., and it's supposed to be for a parade. But will it turn out to be something different? Very, very possibly it's going to turn out to be something different. If you look at so my comments, do you support President Donald Trump deploying the National Guard into California tonight? If it wasn't done, if they didn't see this coming, there would be horrific riots today. This, like I said, may start to quell some of this now, but it may start to pop up like they're planning in other cities across the U.S., all the way into that period of time where that parade is supposed to start. So the only way to stop Rodney King riots 2.0 is deploy the National Guard early, but even that won't help, in my opinion, because the Army will eventually have to be deployed. So they're saying that several arrests have already been made for assault on federal agents. Any attack on our agents or officers will not be tolerated. You will be arrested and federally prosecuted. So my thoughts are: you go heavy, you go hard right off the bat. So we know how this is going to play out, guys. We've seen this with Rodney King 2.0, or this is Rodney King 2.0. We saw it with the last Rodney King riots. So if you don't go in heavy right off the bat, then they get a footing. I've seen this overseas many times throughout my career as a Navy SEAL and as a CIA. You have to come in heavy right away when they start to demonstrate and they see that they're getting away with it. They're going to up the intensity. They're going to start to throw rocks, and then the next thing you know, they're shooting mortars at you and RPGs and shooting sniper rifles. This is what's coming. This is what's coming in the cities. We already know that a lot of the gear that was in Afghanistan, this was by design too, made its way into Ukraine and from Ukraine to the border cities, and then from the border cities into the tunnel systems, and then into U.S. cities. So I know a lot of you guys don't think this is possible. That's unfortunate. You just have to look at what just happened in Ukraine and Russia, where they took out at least 40% of Russia's, supposedly, their bombers, strategic bombers, with drones. Right, so drones are going to be probably in the cities fighting. It'll be a drone war in the cities. It'll be hard to move around in these cities because of the drone activity, and on both sides, just like it is right now in the Ukraine-Russia battlefields. So we're going to see high-tech weaponry come out in these battles in the cities. So when the gunfire starts, bring the APCs, tanks, and Cobra gunships. You got to bring them early, bring them fast. Everyone right now needs to prepare mentally, and if all hell breaks loose, then that's when we start bringing in the specialized teams like the SEAL teams, and they're going to go after what I believe are the kingpins. And a lot of these kingpins are from across the border, the cartels. So the cartels are running a lot of this. There's a lot of people that are running a lot of these illegal aliens, and they've been doing it for a long time, across every aspect, whether it be in the farming industry, whether it be in, grocery stores and restaurants and hotels. Cartels run a lot of that. So the cartels are the ones that are going to activate a lot of those people to fight. All right, so the kingpin. So here, right, you see the center blocks that were used on ICE agents. See how they broke them up? So this wasn't, old footage. This is recent. So something dropped that off, and here it is. That's recent. All right. So Chicago One Ray said, hundreds of cameras in and around LA in order to determine what truck delivered these. It's not going to happen, guys. It's not going to happen because you have the sheriff of LA, LA County Sheriff Robert Luna. He said back in February that his department will not assist in immigration enforcement. So you have the governor, you have the mayor, and you have the sheriff that are in cahoots with this, guys. Now, when the ICE agents first started getting attacked, it took the LA police like 2 hours to come and help them. 2 hours. That's forever. That's forever, especially in the situations that are going to start to unfold. If that's a response time, then there's going to be a lot of people that are going to go down. So we have to the response time, the only way the response time is going to go up is if federal agents and federal troops start to come in and get involved, because you have the local police force that is compromised, even though quite possibly, most of those guys want to get involved. They have leadership that's been put in position. They drove out all the good guys. We saw a lot of good guys, over the years, during COVID and everything. They refused to push the COVID lies and so forth. They're gone now. So now you have people that are yes people to the deep state puppets like Gavin Newsom and so forth. So you're going to see these guys basically like this guy did, Luna did, put on the brakes, and they're not going to help. So sure, FBI could go in and start to seize footage. That's the only way it's going to happen, because you're not going to get assistance from a lot of these guys. Now, you may eventually start to have guys, cross over. And then eventually, if they find that Luna and some of these other sheriffs and deputies and so forth are part of the problem, they can be arrested. If, the different, we even had Tom Holman say that if Karen Bass, the mayor of LA, and Gavin Newsom tries to thwart or impede the federal troops from coming in to save the people of their state, they will be arrested. So it's very, very likely in the future we'll start to see some of that happening. But will that make a difference? I can tell you in these activities, someone else is going to take over. Someone else will keep everything going. You can take out leadership. I've been part of taking out leadership in terror cells for a long time, and somebody else just steps up, and that's the way that game is played. That's the way it will be played when this starts to happen. So sleeper cells, we've talked about them being in these big cities, guys. They're being activated, and we're just seeing a little piece of it. A little piece. We're going to have level upon level, deeper and deeper levels of these guys with higher levels of capabilities. You get a group of guys like me, and some of these guys are trained at my level. And you get them in charge, and you get them with groups of people that know how to move and how to respond. It's going to be devastating for these cities. And that's why I think that, and a lot of us have said that we're going to have, incredible problems. So here is some of the stuff we're seeing. Political organization 5051 planning protests across the country this week. The political grassroots organization 5051, founded to protest the actions of the second Donald Trump administration. So this could be another reason why we may start to see, unfortunately, some suppression of free speech. Guys like me know, of course, but you could see some suppression of free speech. And that's because these people are out here spreading information through the social media platforms. So this is, and that's how they're getting people to move around and go to these protests and activating people and activating the sleeper cells and, saying we just dropped off cinder blocks on block number, blah, blah, blah. Go there, get your cinder blocks and start throwing them. So that's what we're starting to see. So in solidarity with the people of Los Angeles, June 8th through the 14th, remember the 14th in DC is when that parade is supposed to happen. Across the country, according to news release. The organization accused ICE of conducting warrantless, which is false, military-style raids. They have to be military-style raids because they're going after the bad guys. They're going after the worst people first. The ones that they know about, they're trying to take them out as fast as they can. And they're getting resistance from the Democrat cities. And the Democrat leftists are getting in their way. And some of these people are just innocent idiots, right? To a certain extent. They've just been Democrats their whole lives. They don't know anything better. They don't think for themselves, and they're basically programmed from birth to be a Democrat. And if the Democrats say jump, they jump, and that's what's going on. Warrantless military Friday detaining at least 44 people, as well as injuring, arresting union leader David Herta, president of SEIU, California, part of the Service Employees International Union. So you're going to obviously see the unions get involved. The unions are going to get their people involved. So see how big this can get very quickly. Very quickly. It's going to be ugly. Homeland Security Kristi Noem says National Guard troops deployed are specifically trained for this type of crowd situation. There's probably something National Guard's been training for the last 4 or 5 years after George Floyd riots, guys. So these 2,000 National Guards is a drop in a bucket. They're going to need a lot more. That's just enough to handle that specific area of LA. You're going to see widespread. You're going to see the loss of LA. Of course, they've destroyed most of LA already, but you're going to see widespread devastation throughout LA and other cities. So they arrived, and they're talking about that. Senators weigh in. Senator James Lankford, Republican of Oklahoma, told NBC News, Meet the Press, that Trump's decision to deploy the National Guard was an effort to de-escalate tensions. So you have a show of force, and it will make some of the semi-stupid people, right, back down. But the ones that are hardcore, they're there for the fight and have been paid and have been trained for the fight, they're not going to back down. So we refer to, of course, protests in the wake of George Floyd murder, because this is George Floyd Part 2. George Floyd riots was just a warm-up for this, guys. It's going to be way, way more advanced. All right, Lankford also spoke about Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's suggestion that active duty Marines, so this is from just down there, just above San Diego, that could come up and help, right? And then down in San Diego, of course, you get the Navy SEAL teams. So that would be the next level that could happen. So if this turns into house to house, room to room, building by building, you're probably going to see the Special Forces guys come in, because that's what they're trained for. The Marines can do the same thing. You have Army can do the same thing. But that's what it will come to that. It will absolutely come to that. They will fight for every building. We'll probably see people from Ukraine involved. Nazis from Ukraine are probably there, standing by, ready to get involved, guys. You're going to have people that maybe even fought in Fallujah, all right? Some of the terrorists in Fallujah. So, and of course, Navy SEALs and Army and all those guys were active, hammering that back then. So that's that. So Oceanside, just above San Diego, where the Marine Corps base is, could very possibly come up and get involved. I think that will probably happen. Now, protests set to continue today after day of chaos. It says one day after dozens of people, smoke-filled room, blah, blah, blah. And then it says, we're in here somewhere, I think. Somewhere in here it says 2 o'clock. Organizers have already called for a third day of protests in the city for today. And I think it was for 2 o'clock today it was supposed to start. So we'll see. See what happens. See if they're going to come in heavy. They come in heavy against these National Guard troops, which will eventually happen. We could very, very possibly see shootings. Very possibly see shootings. And they may justify these shootings because the National Guard has showed up, right? So if you see once a shooting starts, it's going to get real ugly. It's going to get real ugly. So we already are seeing New York is having some of these protests too. These protests, of course, are supposed to happen around the country, all the way up to the parade The Army, I think it's Army 250 anniversary of the Army. I don't know. So we'll see. With water and pepper spray, of course, water and pepper spray are just so effective, and the bullets fly that you don't use that anymore. It's on, right? So it's going to happen. It's going to happen. We've been talking about this for years. I've said for years that people have said, "Are we going to have a civil war?" No. There will be widespread violence, I think, across America in almost every city. Almost. If we see the internet go down and so forth, all right. So this is what you need. You need to have food and water. Just like we've been talking about, you should always have. You should at this point. I think everyone has it. But if you don't, if you've been using up, saying, "Oh, nothing ever happened. I'm going to do away with that." So go back and get it if you don't have it, and you need weapons. You need weapons because they could. I think I don't think. I know that they will start to move through neighborhoods. They will search what they believe are vulnerable neighborhoods, and they will go through neighborhoods and they will shoot them up, and they will kill people. They will go house to house killing people. And if you live in a high-rise apartment building and you're in a city like Chicago or New York or so forth, and the police are overwhelmed down the block, and they start going up, and while they're overwhelmed and they're all involved in some major event, because you've seen how, like, there's some event and you have like 1,000 police cars come. That's what's going to happen. They're going to have some event that's going to bring all the police to some location, and while that happens, they're going to go on the back streets and start to shoot and loot. All right, we've already seen the looting happening in LA. We've seen stores that have been looted. They've gone in and beaten the people that had those stores. They tried to resist, and then they looted the stores. That's not peaceful protest. And then we're going to see that in all the cities. It's going to be complete mayhem. We've seen this George Floyd part 2, right? It's already happening. It's happening right now. It's been happening. All right, so it's legal in all 50 states. Police pulling them up my 100-foot trees. Examples. So, yeah. So, I mean, that is a possibility. If you're going to have to defend yourself. Probably everybody that's listening at some point. I think everybody's going to get involved. Now, what they could do is come into areas. Now, a lot of people think they're out in the farm somewhere. I think the farms are going to be, looted and so forth as well, because they're trying to break down the supply chain. So if you're on a farm out there and it's like, I'm good out here, no one's coming out here for me, you're wrong. I've been saying this for years. You guys think that you're going to go run out there and hide? You need to have a team out there. You You guys need to work together. And if, you need to be in, like, gunshot range, I guess, of each other, shoot up in the air, because if everything goes down, cells and everything else, you need to communicate. So you need to have a plan. So get a plan for your neighborhood. If things go bad, you might have a neighborhood watch, which would be very advisable. And you're going to have to maintain that until the point where they're going to pull back. They're going to get hammered. They're going to get pulled back. And they're going to the main cities, right? And that's where they're going to get finished out. And those cities will, like I'm talking about, will be like Fallujah. They'll be destroyed, right? So it's not going to be a widespread civil war, but there are millions of people that will be involved, and we could unfortunately see millions of people being killed. And this is not going to be something that's going to be start and over in a few months. This is going to last for years. This will last for years, right? Now, 107 said, he said 10 years. My thoughts were the worst of it will be for a few years, and then it will be, basically finding and taking out people that were involved that will try and start it all over again and activate sleeper cells again. These sleeper cells will be with us for a long time. And that's the way sleeper cells are basically, that's what they are. You could be a sleeper. You could be asleep for like 5, 6, 7, 10 years before you're activated. You get in with the group. You're like, part of their group, and then you turn on them. So that's going to be, some of the stuff we'll see as well, unfortunately. Some people that will be trusted in the beginning will be, unfortunately, bad guys that are sleeper cells. All right, so let's look at the cities that I'm looking at. They're probably going to get will be problem areas, and these are all the typical places. Seattle, of course, they were in the last George Floyd. You just look at all the last George Floyd problems. Seattle has not changed. Seattle will be a problem. Seattle will probably be lost. And then you go into Oregon, Portland, probably lost. Now, other cities, other little cities could be problems. That's not to say that just these cities, and these, who knows, maybe these cities won't be. Maybe, so I don't think so, but I'm pretty sure that the left coast cities are the big cities are done. They've been heavily infiltrated by the Democrats, and they intend to control those cities and make those cities bastions for their communist dictatorships, and they'll spread from there. So that's what they want to do. They want to take down big cities, control big cities, and they'll do that, I think, within the next several months. We'll start to see that happening. Now, will we see violence in Mexico and Canada? Possible. It's possible. We could see problems across the border as well. Very possibly, unfortunately. And then San Francisco is one of the cities I see as a problem. No surprise for everyone, I don't think. LA, of course, and even San Diego could be a problem. We've already seen rioting in San Diego. San Diego, since I was there in the SEAL team, San Diego has really gone downhill. So very, very unfortunate. Now, working our way across Phoenix in Arizona, strong possibility. Austin, Texas, and Austin is in between Dallas and Houston, or close to Houston. Let me zoom in here a little bit. So you see Austin here. So this could spill over into some of these other cities. But I think that pretty much Texas, you don't mess with Texas. Austin could be, and probably will be, a big problem. But I think it'll get squashed. Once everybody knows it's game on, then those people that know how to move and take care of business, and there's a lot of former military in Texas, it's going to get taken care of, and then they'll start to help other cities, I think. Denver, I believe, is going to be a problem, and we could have other cities that are problems. Denver, we've seen a lot of problems in Colorado. School shootings. They tried to get Trump kicked off the ballot. So obviously that's a real big problem there in Colorado. Of course, Chicago will be, I think, a major problem. Another one that I think is a problem, Milwaukee, and it could be a lot of different towns in Wisconsin that will be a problem, like they were for the George Floyd riots. St. Louis, I think, is a possible problem. Same thing. You look at the problem areas for George Floyd. Now, some of these could have been turned. The people could have gotten very motivated, activated, like they did, I think, in Milwaukee. So it may start, but they may not lose the city. It may start in those cities, but they could be turned around. So you might not completely lose those cities. Other ones, of course, as we move across and go to the East Coast, You're looking at New York, of course, obviously, New York City, that is. Atlanta, I think, is going to be a problem. Could be lost. DC, I think that's a given. DC maybe early on. Baltimore and New Orleans. Now, some of these maybe not. Some of these may, be a problem. Like Miami, I think Miami could very easily be a problem, but that'll get squashed. So you'll see some problem areas, but they'll get squashed. And then after that, those states will be consolidated, and it's just going to be a whittling down in these different cities, and it'll be like I said, it'll be like Fallujah in Iraq, where there's going to be massive destruction in those cities to basically go in and take out the bad guys and try and rescue as many people that couldn't leave. You guys know that I've been talking about get out of the big cities for years now. I know, unfortunately, there's a lot of people that could not do that for different reasons. Maybe you didn't believe that it was going to be a problem. Maybe you could not financially do that, which is probably most of the case. You had many relatives there. You feel like you can make a difference if you stay there. It's kind of like that relationship where you have the spouse that beats the other spouse, and they think they can make a difference by if they stay long enough and try and work with them, they'll stop beating them. That's the way it is in these Democrat cities, unfortunately. Right. So Donald Trump has said that if Governor Gavin Newsom of California and Mayor Karen Bass of Los Angeles can't do their jobs, they're not going to do their jobs, whichever everyone knows they can't, then the federal government will step in and solve the problem. The federal government will step in and help the people of these states and push the rioters and the terrorists and that have come into our country, been allowed to come into our country from the last administration. It's been pointed out. We pointed it out for years. Had so many people on my shows talking about this. Unbelievable. Many of us have been gaming this out for years, warning everybody, telling everybody what's coming. So very, very, it's very, very not possible. It is here. It depends on, when it kicks off and how intense it's going to be, but it started, I believe. So you got riots and looters the way it should be solved. So you got the National Guard there. We'll see how this evolves today and over the next week, because they're supposed to push this into cities across the country now. And they already started in New York, and I haven't heard of any other cities. I would not be surprised if they're already starting in other cities. We just haven't gotten that word yet because they're suppressing it. Because the mainstream media is protecting this information. And only citizen journalists right now are our best bet to keep us informed. People like myself, people that are out on the streets to see things happening and to start to report them so that we can, share and get it out to everyone else. And eventually, like I said, it's very possible we could see a destruction of the grid system. I think that's a given. So some of you are like, depending on this kind of information, like I'm giving you, to keep coming. It's very, very possibly it won't. So the next thing you know, there's people walking down your street, going house to house, shooting everybody up, right? Neighborhood to neighborhood. So you're gonna have to protect yourself. There could be, unfortunately, long-term looting, like we're seeing in LA, where they're going in and looting the stores. That's one of the things they're going to do on purpose. Not because they're thieves, but because that's one of the things they're going to do to break down the fabric of society, right? So I've seen this all over the world. I've studied this as a warrior. I've studied this in the CIA. It's coming. Current recall efforts for Governor Gavin Newsom. There's the second report is April 19th through May 20th. So we haven't gotten any feedback on that. So they're going to drag their feet on this and hem and haw on this and try and stall this like Gavin Newsom and cheat it out. They will not be able to cheat it out this time. And I believe that there's going to be disclosure of how they've stolen a lot of these elections. Gavin Newsom should not be there. And if they release the information that he has stolen the last several elections, he would be gone now. Will they do that? Is it time for that? It could be. This mayor, Karen Bass, she wasn't elected either. She wasn't elected. She was chosen. She was put in that position so they could do the things they're doing right now, guys. All right. So LA Mayor Bass is also under a recall. So that's one of the reasons why they're fighting right now, or they're going to start fighting in all these cities and cause this disruption so that they can potentially, like they did with George Floyd, sway the election. Maybe it won't even happen, right? Just like in Ukraine, where you have Zelensky, basically, because of national emergency, he stopped, the election process. So he's been there for over a year as a dictator. That war would have stopped over a year ago if he had had fair and free elections. All right, so that's what the Democrats have been benefiting. Obviously, that's why Joe Biden went over there and threatened that one person that was investigating into fraud and all that kind of stuff, and threatened that the United States would withhold $1 billion, and then, by God, he got rid of the I don't know, their district attorney equivalent, whatever, that was investigating fraud and so forth. That basically would have shut down a lot of the stuff that the Democrat Party was doing as far as like money laundering. Of course, a lot of those European countries are same thing as the United States. A lot of those people that are elected into those positions of power in Europe are under fraud. France, England, Germany, Poland, fortunately, I believe, just got someone that should have been elected, barely. The people obviously turned out, I guess, and they helped to stop the fraud. So they have a good guy there. They were like, every time that Russia would start to send in missiles to basically blow the hell out of the Nazis in Ukraine, Poland would send up F-16s. And they'd fly the border to see if they could help out anyway and shoot down missiles that they felt maybe coming close. So that they're not doing that now that they have this new election. So you're probably going to start to see a lot of the fraud and so forth. Not a lot of it, but some of it in Europe start to collapse as well. There's going to be wins. There's going to be losses. I've talked about a lot of this. I'm not going to go into detail about that, but we're going to have a lot of problems here in the United States. So like I said, back in March, President Trump was basically blocking money that was coming in for COVID-related research grants funded by the National Institutes of Health, and some of those were in California. So they lost hundreds of millions of dollars, and then they started rioting, right? You cut their money, they're going to riot, I guess. And that's kind of what we saw. President Trump came in and said, $4 billion, you're not going to be able to use that money for staying in power, Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass and whoever else, your sheriffs that you've put in positions of power that are corrupt. You're not going to be able to use that money for that anymore. So that was back in March of 2025. Illegals blocked highways in San Diego. And that was when they basically cut funding. All right. Trump cut funding back then. So he just did it. like 1 or 2 days ago or something. And then they had the riots. So Trump is taking away their money. And so they're activating these riots early. They didn't expect Trump to push the National Guard out, I believe. They thought he would do the same thing as last time, but Trump is on to him. So protests of immigration raids continue as National Guard arrives under Trump's orders. Federal agents conducted a series of immigration sweeps across Los Angeles on Friday, prompting anger and resistance. Because this is the cartels that are being taken out. MS-13, all these different gangs that are all over the United States that are controlling the money laundering for the Democrat Party and some Republicans are basically being they're getting violent now. They're going to push back, and they're going to claim that it's because illegal aliens should have rights too. Right? No, what part of illegal don't you understand? They're here illegally, they don't have rights. And the ones that we know that are bad, we're trying to get out of here. Of course, as we know, Gavin Newsom is saying that the deployment is purposefully inflammatory and will only escalate tensions. It will escalate tensions because it will activate the sleeper cells. At some point, they'll probably activate the people with weapons. And when that happens, then it's on, right? It's on already. It's just a matter of time before the weapons start to be activated. But I think they're seeing that Trump is not fooling around. Bongino, they're ready to rock and roll because they already know what's coming. And they're going to hit it hard. They're going to hit it fast. And they're going to keep hitting it. So again, like I said, Trump administration's announcement that it would pull $4 billion from the state's bullet train project is likely to mean significant delays in serving the first passengers. Several analysts said, whatever. I will be surprised if that thing ever goes. It's been a money laundering scheme for California Democrats for a very long time. Nancy Pelosi's husband and a lot of people have their hands deep into that pie. All right. So losing the federal grants will put the project on a near starvation diet to complete even the limited 171-mile initial segment in the Central Valley, linking Merced and Bakersfield. So it's the United States is the laughingstock of the world. All right. With the money that they've stolen from that bullet train, it should be bullet trains, from all across the United States by now. We're a laughingstock of the world, and we have corruption beyond belief. So yeah, we're going to continue to see the National Guard be deployed. They'll be deployed in other cities if we start to see other cities start to riot. They would very quickly pushed into other cities, and you'll see, depending on which cities they are, probably going to be Democrat cities. There's going to be resistance, and maybe they will figure out how to stop the deployment. Maybe they'll have some of their corrupt judges, make decisions that will block the National Guard from coming in. And maybe there will be a pause. And in that pause, the riots will be able to take hold and cause massive destruction. So be aware that that's very, very possibly some of the stuff they have up their sleeve right now. So the California Anti-ICE protest group funded by the Biden Department of Homeland Security grant. Department of Homeland Security is funding one of the groups that is staging protests against immigration and customs enforcement. So we, the American taxpayers, have funded these riots. Yeah, we know. And that's what DOJ and what this new big, beautiful bill is trying to shut down a lot of this stuff and trying to continue the progression of the American worker, who's the most, at one time, was the most successful worker in the world. Whether that's we're able to get back, we will be able to get back to that. But at what point, how long will that take? remains to be seen. So there was $450,000 was given to humane immigrant rights by the Department of Homeland Security. So, and that was a Bush, after 9/11, that was a Bush project that came in. It was resisted, but they were like, how are you resisting? We have to do this, and they got it in. So it probably still is very corrupt in a lot of areas, but I think that's going to be cleaned up. It'll take time, just like it's taking time to clean up the FBI. Kash Patel, saying that he got swatted, and that could be from a local law enforcement. I don't think it's from the FBI, obviously. Local law enforcement could have been notified that he was under threat. Somebody was trying to shoot him, or he was trying to shoot somebody. Who knows what it was? But probably local law enforcement showed up, SWAT team, and they knocked on the door, and he's like, no, everything's good. Who knows how that worked out? I don't know. But he was on Joe Rogan and said that happened. Of course, he said also, after Pam Bondi said they had thousands of hours worth of, Jeffrey Epstein tapes that had lots of pedo stuff on them. Kash Patel came out and said, if we had that stuff, don't you think we would reveal it? It's like, okay, which one of you guys is lying? So, and I don't know. I think a lot of that is just misdirection, disinformation. So so maybe the guys that are, feeling the heat, maybe they're saying, oh yeah, so I'm good. Kash Patel says they don't have anything. I can come out from the shadows now. And then once they come out of the shadows and all those other groups come out of the shadows, then they pounce on them. That's the way these things are done. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not involved with it, but I've been telling you guys there's lots of disinformation that's going on back and forth out there. So you're going to see a lot of organizations are going to leave these big cities, these big blue cities. So Small Business Administration Administrator Kelly Loeffler has revealed that the SBA would be moving its regional office out of Los Angeles after Mayor Karen Bass refused to cooperate with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. That is an excuse because they know that city is going to be destroyed. All right. So you're going to probably see a lot more of that. Reasons to leave while the getting's good. Right. And they'll use that as excuses going forward. So it's going to be hectic out there, guys. It's going to be hit or miss in a lot of places. Tara, I don't think Loeffler's compromised. But you would know. You're from Georgia, so that's where she was from. She was supposed to be a senator there, but her election was stolen. So I don't know. I think, but Trump trusted her enough to put her in that position. So we'll see. And it could be just put her in a position until she reveals herself. So you would have more insight than I would think, since, like I said, you're from Georgia. All right. So I just watch them all. I just watch everything. A lot of people want to say, oh, Trump's bad. Well, he may say bad things. Right? Is he bad? No. But a lot of people may think he is bad because of some of the things he may say. And that's part of the game that's being played right now. So we'll see. We'll see how this all works out. So I don't know. I think that we're good for the most part. This is something that has to go down. The collapse of the deep state. They're not going to go down without a fight, and we're going to have to go kinetic on them. They're going kinetic on us right now. So it's going to have to go back. We can't just wish this away. We can't send them love. We can send them love. That will definitely have its effect. But it's not going to stop them from going kinetic. Right. So you have to be in that intuitive state of consciousness. You have to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, right? Know when to walk away, know when to run. So that's where we're at right now. So Mama Chola, that's up to you. Where you're supposed to move to be safe. I can't speak for the hundreds of millions of people in the United States. Tell them, each one of them individually, where they should go. Some of them are not going to go. They know they're not going to go. They know they're in a bad situation. They can't move. And then, que sera, whatever will be, will be. So it's gonna work out. And who knows, maybe some of these people will have amazing stories of survival, and some of them will have horrific stories that we'll never hear about. It's just the way it's going to be. Right. All right, guys. Stay in the love vibration that keeps you intuitive. It'll help you get through this. If you're in fear, it's going to freeze you up, especially if you get in a situation where you're going to have to move quick. You're in fear, you're in doubt, you're in anger. All those emotions are basically shut you off from source, and you're going to have to be connected with source going forward. And all of us are going to be connected with source going. This is basically a transition phase. So a lot of people have talked about how we're rising in consciousness. You think that's going to be an easy move? We're going up in consciousness. It's going to be la la la. It's going to be beautiful. Yeah. Every time there's a great movement higher, there's always an incredible amount of resistance initially. And not only are we going to see that from, unfortunately, evil people, and we may see some of these evil people actually, turn good, right? Very possible. I would say very possible. I think absolutely we're going to see that. We're going to see people that we thought were good, not so much. And then we're going to see, some people we've been following for a long time that, have been, giving us some good insight. So there's a lot of good people out there, and you'll have to, have your own opinions of what you do and where you need to move. I'm moving right from Florida. So you just have to decide what's good for you. And for some of you, it might be perfect to stay where you're at in Florida. I don't know. Florida may be one of those states that's actually really good. Who knows? But maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe it seems like when I leave a place, it was a good time to leave, and I go wherever I go, I do good work. And when it's time for me to go do some good work somewhere else, then that's where I'm led to go intuitively. That's where I'm going to go. Right. So it is what it is. I've moved around quite a bit, and I've continued to put this information out. It is part of what I do. It takes a lot of work, takes a lot of focus, takes a lot of love to do this. I do without a lot of different things to continue to share with you guys. So I hope you guys like it. And if you're appreciative, then go into start LifeWave, right? Go into the description box, hit LifeWave, join up, start getting the patches. You're going to need them. There's a lot of good stuff that comes with the patches. They're from God, right? And they'll help you. All right, guys. Lots of love. Stay in the love vibration. And I will see you guys next time.